Levaia, Rali Elokim, Ruach Nachayim Chadesh B'kirbi. Levaia, Rali Elokim, Ruach Nachayim Chadesh B'kirbi.
There are times in the life of a rabbi when you happen to do what you do. And Sameach, to help people rejoice in their gladness. And then there are times when it is almost impossible to say anything. All of us are here this afternoon, but brought together by the tragedy which struck the Kraft Rosenfeld family and the great-grandmother, Mrs. Howard. Sitting this morning at their home, with Donnie and their Nana, I said to them, I can answer all the questions that you have about the levaia, about halacha and dinim, aninus, avelos. But there's one question to which I have no answer. The story is told of a chassid who had a child who died, and he went to the Chiddush in the Ger Rebbe, and he asked him questions. Why did it happen? The Rebbe said to him, I would not want to God. And there are many instances in Talmud and in Moshe about great chachamim and sages who were deprived of the children during their lifetime. And there are two very brief stories which I want to bring your attention. We want to have this in Orphans that hey, when Rabbi Yochanan came to the Menachem Avelim for parents who lost a child, he pulled out a little bone from his pocket. He said, "Dein Garmol Tzil Bia." That is the bone of my 10th son. He had 10 children, 10 sons, who died during his lifetime. And he kept in his pocket, according to the way Tosfos interprets it, a little bone or a tooth, which he took him with himself, which he took along to visit the house of mourning in some tragedy that brings us here today. What was he trying to say to the people? Try to say to them, you're asking me questions. I could ask a question 10 times. But I want to remind myself always that the Rebbeinu Shalom decrees what he decrees. And you go on in the Munah and Bitachon. So he said, then God, with this little bone which I have, is the bone of my youngest son. I try to teach him a lesson in Bitachon and in the Munah. There's another story in the Gemara in Brachos told that you and Yeshaya and Isaiah the prophet had a mission from God to visit Chizkiyahu HaMelech, Hezekiah the king, on the mission of rebuke. Chizkiyahu was sick, kind of a punishment because he had committed some wrong. He didn't know what it was. And so Yeshaya said to him, do you know why you're suffering? Because you did not marry and you did not have a child. And God says, Plu Revu, be fruitful and multiply. To which Chizkiyahu HaMelech, the king, said, there's a reason. Because I saw in my Ruach HaKodesh, in my divine spirit, the Davke V'nai B'nidel Amara, that I would have children and not good. I didn't want to bring children to the world when they're not good. To which Isaiah said to him, don't try to second guess God. That's not your concern. I think what the story is telling us is some people, children, say, I will not have children. Because who knows how they will behave. And Yeshaya tried to teach him a lesson. This is not your business. We can ask the same question in the other way. I saw in my vision that I would have a child that would die. And the answer is the same. That is not your business. And the Shrafa decides who, where, when. That's the ultimate strength of Bitachon and Emunah, which is being tested. And I don't think that anybody can be tested more harshly and more thoroughly than when the parents of Hanan and Lior. Those of us who followed the story of what happened with this little girl for the last year or so, whether you saw them in Sharet Tzedek in Yerushalayim or in Sloan Kettering in New York, witnessed, as I did, the tremendous bitachon and emunah which the parents demonstrated. After Rega Achron till the last second. You know, Shmuel ibn Gabirol, the great Jewish sage and poet in the Spanish period, wrote a beautiful poem which is printed in many Siddurim called Keser Malchus. And there speaks of his trials and tribulations. He said, Gaventik the lady says, God, even if you will kill me, ever I will escape from you. Where will I go? Mincha lecha, from you back to you. When all is said and done, that is our refuge. That is the rock of our salvation. And this kind of bitachon emunah I've seen in such strong measure for Dani and Alana and the grandparents. And that is the only answer I have to this question. Keli, lama zaftani. My God, why did you desert me? Why did you forsake me? And I must tell you that these two taught us a lesson in bitachon and emunah until the last moment. Is this a comfort? I don't know. But to understand God's ways is impossible. And so let Rabbi Yochanan be accepted and show other people to be accepted. He's saying that Tziduk Hadin, the funeral service is not today because it's not quite finished with it. Tachnum days. But with the same, Adam and then Shana Yechia, Erev Shana Yechia, Mayisama. And when there's to be just 1 year old, or 1,000 years old, does it really make a difference in terms of life? The answer really is that every neshama that comes down to us has a tafkid, has a task. What this task is, we don't know. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he gave the parents the present, the gift of Hanukkah, had a purpose. And it seems we're sure that she had fulfilled the purpose. Nobody leaves this world without having accomplished what his task was. If the task was not fulfilled, then you live earlier. What was the tafkid of this little beautiful child? What was the purpose? What was the matara, the aim, the goal? You don't know, I don't know. But maybe it is to teach us the beauty of the neshama tahara, the beautiful neshama. Last time I saw her, never speaking, really seeing her fully vibrant, was in the hospital last week. She was playing toys. Then she was here in shul. And the last time I really did see her was when Nani was standing in the balcony together with the aide and saying to him, and she was resting her hand on the shoulder of the boy. You don't know, and I don't know, what was the design of the Rebbeinu Shalom. So resignation, what happened, happened. Certainly this is not the time to want to evoke tears or hysteria, but if anybody can teach us what it means to be ma'aminin, b'nei ma'aminin, it is these two young parents. And that's the lesson that I take away from this great tragedy. Knowing full well that little Hannah accomplished what she had to accomplish. Kadosh Baruch Hu has a lesson for them. He has a curriculum. He has a syllabus for us. The art of Jewish living is to try and find out what the syllabus is, what his curriculum is, what the lesson plan is. But like Shlonim, go out, you punish me, I'll run away from you, I don't have any power. And I'll run, I'll flee. So where will you flee? Mincha elecha, back to you. We are in a kind of a dilemma of time, because as you know, she's going to be brought back to Eretz Yisrael, to Eretz HaKodesh, to Admas HaKodesh, holy soil, and we have to be sure to get to the airport in time. So at this point I'm asking, I should be frank with you, he asked to be allowed to say a few words. And it was done his request not to speak from the Bina, but right here from the body of the Shul, the Salhami of Hashem. So I asked Mary, this is what he wants, this is what he has in mind.
do my best to represent Alana right now, because she's written some words that I will read to you. And then Hami's Uncle Larry will say a few words, and I will then share with you my own thoughts. I'll read to you what Alana wrote. I feel that there are two personalities that together help give the fuller picture of who Chani was and is. There is Chana Liora, in the Chashachana. So many people around the world relate to this kind of man, and those close to her. We're privileged to be touched by. Chana Liora was named after my Zaidi al-Khaman. He was called Chonan in Europe. It was named after his grandmother Chana. Zaidi was about Tefillah and about Tokea, and I was very close to him. This is my Zaidi. Allah is writing about me. And the name Chana also relates to Chana and the Navi, from whom we learned how to daven. Given this connection between Zaidi's name Al-Khanan and his connection to Tefillah, to davening, we felt that the name would be appropriate. The name Liora was a last-minute addition, and we felt that Chani was our first Sabra, born in Israel, the first child, was fitting. Liora from the Pasuk, Or Chadash al Tzion Te'ir, a new light will shine on Zion. They say that when one names a child, they have a Billy Ruach HaKodesh. Never in our wildest dreams did we think that Chani would be a Chana, one who inspires Tefillah. We had an email list, miles long, of people davening, taking on new mitzvot or kavanas because of Chani. One girl in the 12th grade in Australia, who we never even met before, sent us an email saying she was sent a link to our website, and she said all of Tehillim over her vacation was with Chani. There's so many stories of people who have been inspired by her. Was she an Or Chadash? Yes. The mitzvot and the emunah that she transpired was an Or Chadash. The unity that she brought was an Or Chadash that should be continued upon Zion. The sparkle in her eye was an Or Chadash. At a session on a High Lifeline retreat, parents were asked, what is your light that keeps you going? Danielle immediately responds, was Chani. So many people didn't know knew Chana Liora, didn't know Chani. We know it because many people would ask, how is Chana Liora? And we knew that they were davening. Chani lived 3 very full years. She, I believe, fulfilled a very important tafkid in taking part in Tikkun Olam. She's no doubt in a good place, and she died in her sleep. If this is the purpose of Olam Hazeh, then what more can I ask for my child? Chani, as she is known by those who have really gotten to know her, is a fine-spirited, smart, and daring little girl. Although she would have told you that she is a big girl, because she's 3, and she would tell you that Laf is 5 and Ellie is 1. The twinkle in her eye and the way she looked at you said it all. I love her and I will always miss her. She really didn't know that she was special, or that she was sick. The hospital was like her school. She would go in, do what she had to do, play, and go home. She smiled and played with all the nurses and staff. I remember her, after she was unhooked from the IV, running down the halls shouting, I'm going home, I'm going home. All her patients liked to watch her play. In just 1.5 years, she would push her IV pole around to get to the playroom, or she would stand on the wheels and go for a ride while we pushed. She loved to play with her sister Lila. The 2 of them could play for hours, each taking turns being the baby. Lila will miss Chani more than anyone. Chani was endearing. I remember putting her to bed, and as I'd sit next to her bed, she would put her face right up to mine and say, I like your eyebrows, or I like your face. One night we thought Chani had been sleeping for an hour, But all of a sudden, we see her at the top of the stairs with her sunglasses on, her high-heeled shoes, and her pocketbook ready to play. She loved life and enjoyed it. Connie was diagnosed about a year and a half ago. But Connie wasn't dying until a week ago. Everyone's days are numbered. It was only more obvious with Connie. Connie was living. She taught us how to live, how to love life, and the people around.
On behalf of my parents, brothers, sisters, and my wife Jennifer, we'd like to thank you all for coming here today. At first, I was hesitant about saying a few words. I only had a few minutes this afternoon to put pen to paper, and I wanted to make sure I got it right. I wanted to do Connie justice with a few words, but I was afraid that at such short notice, my words would fail my emotions. But I realized that there are no words, and that there is no amount of time in which to write them that could possibly do justice to Connie. I remember when I first found out about Connie's condition. It was the morning after our engagement party. My parents wanted to wait until after the party to tell us. It was very difficult to describe the wide range of emotions we felt that day, but I guess that is what life is all about. Connie was born with very little hair. One year for Purim, she dressed up like a rooster with a complete mohawk. We laughed with delight in brushing Connie's mohawk. As a baby, she always seemed happy. She was giggling and laughing, but she never talked very much. We all preferred to play with Lila. I recall Mama putting Connie in my arms and saying, "Here, play with her. You have to pay attention to her too." But when she started to talk, she truly became the life of the party. She enjoyed singing songs, laughing, and having her toes eaten, or at least that's what I thought she liked. I can't imagine having gone through what little Connie has endured. She's taken everything in stride. When I went to the doctor to get myself a shot, as I winced in fear, I thought of little Connie and all the shots she took. I figured if she could handle countless shots, surely I could handle just one. While this is very hard on her and our family, it must have been hardest on Alana and Daniel. I can't imagine having to watch your child go through what Connie did. They have shown tireless love and dedication, not only to Connie, but to Lila and Ellie, and perhaps more importantly, to each other. I'm glad that we're able to spend as much time as we did together these past few months. While we feel bad for Connie for all of her pain, it is us who have the real pain, the pain of loss. When Connie laughed, she lit up the room. It was just last Tuesday that I taught her a new nickname to call Mama, and every time she said it, we would both laugh and laugh together. Connie had a wonderful 3-year-old birthday party last month. She got everything she wanted: cake, the happy birthday song, and flowers. We were going to Pierce 3 years next, both of them. The last night at the hospital, I decided not to go in and see Connie. I did not want to alter the vision I will always have of her. The last time I saw Connie, she was in her Abba's arms, sleeping peacefully. I rubbed her cheek and kissed her goodnight. I see a laughing, inquisitive, playful little girl who is running to get a big hug from her Uncle Mufasa. That is how I will always remember Connie Bell.
Just as the Malachai Ashari watched over you in this world, now to these short two lines that we and Abba and Zaidi sing every Friday night. I remember when Zev and Danny and I sang this on our Merpeset and Ramat Beit Shemesh, Chani Simchat Bat. I too was planning on speaking about Chani as our first Sabra and about her name, Chani Liora, but I think Juan said it better than I. B'chol ha'chayim yidu chasela. We thank Hashem 3 times a day for life, each life, b'chol ha'chayim. The Gemara says that he who saves one life is as if he had saved the entire world. To a parent, each child is literally the entire world. And to us, our family, is an entire world and more. Each time we eat something and make the bracha with Misha, Kol Miyad Baro, I would pray inside that it should be everything be Baro in its place and as it should be. My Chani, now you are finally in a place where everything is Baro. No IVs, no shots, no metaports, and no tubies. I think that now you're in a place where Nala and Brachanomi have already invited you to play like only you know how. Shmuley Mandelbaum and I used to talk of how we, God willing, dance at Brachanomi and Chani's weddings together. I hope you're dancing together with me now. The truth is that these medical procedures and difficulties did not bother Chani. Chani taught me how to appreciate every moment in life. She was so good-natured and happy that for her, going to the hospital was like going to school. I remember that even at age 1.5 in Hadassah Hospital in Yerushalayim, Chani had to have an IV jabbed into her arm. It was around 11 o'clock at night one time. After many tries at stabbing and jabbing to get the IV in and much crying, Chani stopped crying and turned to the nurse and gave her a kiss. This is who Chani was. She took everything in stride and everything with a smile. The Torah tells us, Abraham Zakein Baba Yamim. What does it mean, Baba Yamim? Wouldn't it be sufficient Abraham Zakein? Abraham didn't count his days. Rather, he made his days count. And so did Chani Ben-Ami. Chani accomplished more in her short life than many do in an entire lifetime. All the chesed, tehillim, and shmirat haloshon, and mitzvot, and tzedakah that Chani inspired people really around the world was really unbelievable. Chani, a 3-year-old girl, found a way to unite people from all different backgrounds, sects, hashkafot, and ages. Chani taught us of the importance of unity and love between fellow people. Chani was my mitzvah girl. From a young age, she loved kissing the zuzot, going to shul with me and kissing the Torah and our Kodesh, having a lot and a little kiddush, as she liked to say, davening with me on the way home from shul. She was always the one who wanted to put the Shabbos candles in, and I remember her jumping on her bed as she would excitedly say Shema. She was fun-loving and loved fun. She loved to make up nicknames for everybody. It seemed that those nicknames seemed to stick. She coined Ellie's nickname, Ellie Belly Booba, and Happy Boy. Chani loved and adored Ellie Belly, and would always make sure that when we'd drop anything, even if we were miles away from our home, at the hospital, pick it up and choke on it. And the nickname, she even had a nickname for her baby doll. It was Dima Rosenfield. And of course, she herself was Khani Banani. And I was so proud to introduce myself to people and be known in the hospital in Israel as Khani Banani's Abba. Khani especially enjoyed going to Babi's to get her nails done and eating Babi's jello. She had a unique appreciation for nature, which I've never seen anywhere. Even at 1 years old, she would notice and love each little bird's chirp, and she loved to feed the pigeons in the park. I always carry with me 2 favorite stories that I share with Khani that I like to tell. One of them happened when I was walking out of Sloan Kettering in the city with Khani one day, maybe, I don't know, half a year ago. I was carrying Khani, we walked out of the hospital, and it was raining a little bit, it was drizzling. And I said to Khani, it's raining a little. She looked up to me with a sweet face and said, baby rain. That's sweet. Another time I was walking with Khani on Main Street, just here, right by Superstall, and we were walking past the store, and she noticed a barber shop that had a bird cage in it, and some birds. So we looked through the window at the birds, and she played with them a little. We started to go in, went into the barber shop, and we talked to the birds, and we looked at the birds, and we finished playing, and we went out and continued on our walk, and she turned up to me and said, Abba, those birds are waiting to get their haircut. And ultimately for me, there was nothing in the world, nothing in the whole wide world like a hug from Khani. I would cling to her as she clung to me. Khani, how I miss your hug. I would hug you forever. After a hug or something from Khani, she would just turn up to me and say, Abba, I like your face. Khani and I were very close, as I think is evident to anyone who saw us. We had a special bond and relationship. I cannot explain it. I was often one who could console her when she needed it. And we knew how to have fun, play, and laugh and dance together. There was nothing like picking up Lila and Khani and Ellie, all of them in my arms, and singing and dancing, Yachad Yachad. We say, Modani levanecha melechai v'kayam shechazarta b'nishmati b'chamla rabba v'netecha. You know, in the songs, we sing it to the children, sometimes the words aren't put exactly as I believe the dictum is supposed to go. At the end is v'chamla rabba v'netecha. Hashem's faith in us should grow. I believe that this message in this is that we pray that Hashem should have enough faith in us that we can reach these heights on our own. The heights of Torah and Tefillah and unity that we were all able to reach through illness and tragedy. Rabbi Mu'atacha. We pray that Hashem will have the faith in us, that we can do it even without this tragedy and illness, even without leaders like Khani. And I appeal to all of you today, and to all who have davened for Khani, please, I beg you, don't stop your tefillah and tehillim. In our year and a half, we have met and encountered in various hospitals many special children who are unfortunately sick and are in so much need of your tefillah. Khani would have wanted you to keep davening for her friends. How could this happen to an innocent, precious, pure 3-year-old girl? And with so many around the world davening and doing mitzvah for her, how could it happen? You know, when we went to the hotel a couple of weeks ago, Lilach turned to me. Lilach turned to me and told me, Abba, I put a note in the hotel asking Hashem to make Khani feel better and have her for Shlema. This is a 5-year-old girl. How do you explain it? The first answer I give is the bottom line. All I know is that Me'et Hashem Haitazot, Hi Niflat Beinenu. This is all part of Hashem's plan. We don't always understand it. As I think of the Kotel, I can't help but think of what Chani told me when we were there. We went to the Kotel and I was holding Chani in my arms and I was trying to tear Kriya. And my shirt didn't rip, so Chani turned to me and said, Abba, you should keep a clip. And I did. Chani, I thought of you this morning as I tore Kriya with my kippah. When we talked to Lilach about all of this a few days ago, we told her the same answer that I remember hearing from the father of Nashon Waxman after he was killed. We asked Lilach if when she asks Abanima for treats or for something, do Abanima always say yes? Lilach answered, no, but I usually get it anyway. Hashem does listen to our tefillot, and He hears them. Sometimes the answer of a father is no. And thirdly, and ultimately, I truly believe that all of the tefillot and mitzvot allowed Chani a happy and pain-free life. I believe that her quality of life was blessed due to all of these good deeds. I mean, besides her hair, sometimes you would look at her, and she was like any other child, running around and playing. Even the doctors couldn't explain it. What was inside her body and outside were two different people. When we talked with Lilach a couple of days ago about all of this, she turned to Milana and said, Chani is my best friend. And they were. Can't stop thinking about how Lilach has lost her best friend. They loved getting dressed up together, playing mommy and baby, pushing their babies in their strollers, going on the swings together, sharing their room, wearing matching Shabbos robes, and just laughing and laughing together as they ran circles around the house together. I told Chani's doctor in the last few days we have much to be thankful for, and we need to count all our blessings. He looked at me like I was crazy, given the prognosis and the situation Chani found herself. I have Hakar Tov to Hashem for each step and for every day that we had with Chani. In the last few months, each step along the way, and her third birthday, on our trip to Israel, on wonderful times that Savta and Zaidi came in to visit, I said to Milana, thank God she and we got to enjoy this step. I think that often in life it is easy to take the little things for granted. Tonight, go home and kiss your kids goodnight. And stay with Daddy with them in the morning. With real meaning. As we said, she made it to her third birthday. It was such a joy and a highlight for her. She would hold up her 3 fingers and say, I'm 3, I'm a big girl, right? As she enjoyed and savored every bit of her cake, ice cream, and flowers. As I reflect back on the year and a half, we're so indebted to so many people for so many things over the past year. It's not the time to elaborate right now, but you, our family, and our friends who have become like family have been there for us in ways we will never be able to repay. There's no way that I could list and thank each person, but you each know what you have done for us and meant to us, and we say thank you. Abba and Ima, this has been heart-wrenching for you. You were always by our side with love and care. My mother said to me just a couple of weeks ago that my in-laws, Mom and Dad, are really malachim, angels. There are no words, Mom and Dad. You show love for your children and grandchildren selflessly, and would do anything for us, and you have. You took us in with smiles and love and never asked for anything in return but smiles and hugs. We thank all of you from the bottom of our hearts for all that you have shared with us and done for us, and we hope that we will be able to repay your kindness through dancing at each other's simchas in the future. I love you, I don't know how to go on without getting another one of your special hugs, or one of your funny lines, or your beautiful smile. I love you forever, honey.
No more rachamim.